Welcome to Staccato Reviews, where I review an album after just one listen. Today we'll be reviewing Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine, released in 1996. It's a little cold out, so I have my car on now. I hope it's not too loud. So a little background for me personally. This is actually the only Rage Against the Machine album I had never heard until now. Rage Against the Machine has actually always been one of my favorite bands. When I was a young kid, maybe about 10 or 11 years old, one of the first albums I ever heard or ever owned actually was Rage's most recent studio album, The Battle of Los Angeles. That's been one of my favorite albums of all time ever since I can remember. I'm also very familiar with Rage's debut album, Killing in the Name, Bomb Track, all those classic songs I've heard and I love. I've also heard Bulls on Parade. I think most people have heard that song. It's one of Rage's biggest hits. But other than that, I hadn't heard any of the tracks on Evil Empire at all, so it was pretty much brand new to me. I don't know why I never listened to Evil Empire. I think maybe it's because I never liked the album art, and I still don't really care for it. I don't know what it is. I look at that album art and I go, that's not Rage, but maybe I'm missing some meaning in that album art. I probably am. All the stuff they do seems to have some kind of meaning. I really like what Rage Against the Machine stands for as a band. So if you're not familiar with the band, most of Rage's songs seem to be about how the government disenfranchises people and does awful stuff, and that we shouldn't ignore or forget that. At least that seems like the message they're trying to get across, but I've mostly been interested in them for their music. This album kind of felt a little more disjointed than their other two that I've heard. I actually haven't heard their Renegades cover album. Just doesn't really interest me. Not into cover songs that much. I guess disjointed is the wrong word. It kind of gave me more of a hip-hop vibe than their other two albums. I don't know what that is. Maybe there's a lot of change-ups, a lot of transitions, a lot of there's not a whole lot of songs that kind of repeat one melody the whole time, like many of the Rage songs that I'm familiar with. So yeah, I've liked Rage ever since I was a very young kid. I actually originally heard their song Guerrilla Radio in one of the Tony Hawk games, and that's what made me interested in them. So I started with Battle of Los Angeles, and that was it. Tom Morello really went all out on this album. Tons of crazy guitar sounds. I love all that stuff. It's one of the reasons I got into the band in the first place, because there's all these crazy sounds and I just had no idea what was causing them. But I looked at the liner notes and it's in there on all their albums, I'm pretty sure. All sounds made by guitar, bass, and drums. Always loved all the sonic manipulation that Tom Morello can do. I'm sure it helps that he has like 100 pedals to help him out, but still. Standout tracks. Let's see. Well, definitely Bulls on Parade. I love that song. It's still my favorite song on that album, although, hey, maybe if I listen to the album more, that'll change. Other standouts were Down Rodeo. I just thought that song was really catchy. Really energetic, just a fun song. Another standout, just off the top of my head, was Wind Below. Really cool dynamics on that track. Loved how it gets real quiet near the end and pumps it up again. Love that. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this album, but I really need another listen or two to really get more familiar with the tracks. I was finding it kind of hard to get into many of the tracks on this album. I think that's just because I need to hear it more. As far as ranking this album amongst the other two Rage studio albums, I would have to put it last, but again, that could be because I just need to hear it more. Definitely songs like Bulls on Parade are amazing, and there were definitely several other tracks that I was getting into on my drive home. So would I listen to it again? Absolutely, and I'll probably listen to it as early as tomorrow. So there you go. All right, see y'all next time.